Hello, thanks for watching my video. I've had the Mini 4 Pro now for about 4 months. I've used it quite a bit. I've learnt all the features, so I thought I'd do a little review on it. I got the flymore combo, so it comes in this bag. So obviously it comes with a drone, 2 extra batteries and a battery charging hub. Quite good, this hub. You press that button, it tells you what power's in each battery. When you plug it into charge, it can quick charge. There's also a charge feature on it where it can take the remaining power out of 2 of the batteries and put it into one of the batteries, which is quite clever, I thought. This is the screen remote controller. You can also get it with the standard RCN, which is the one where you plug your phone into. But I think this worked out about an extra £100 or something. It's well worth it. What you also get is a few extras: USB cable, propellers, instruction booklets, another USB cable. Oh, one's a USB-C to USB-C, the other one's normal USB to USB-C. Screwdriver, silica gel, and that's it. I also got myself some new filters. ND8 to ND256, and it's also got the circular polarizing filter, the UV filter as well. That's the original end piece for the camera that comes with the drone. That's just hollow, there's no glass on that. So it's good to keep a UV filter on it when you're not using the ND filters, because it protects the lens. But that's optional, that doesn't come with it. That cost about 30 quid I think off Amazon. So the drone, nice gimbal protector. So it's a 3-axis gimbal. Extremely steady video on this. Propeller guards so they don't break and flap about. I will admit, it does feel a bit eggshell-like, I suppose. I understand why they've done that, is to keep it under 250 grams. There's a lot of technology in here, so it's going to add to the weight of the drone, so they've got to make weight saving where they can. And if you compare this to like the Mini 2 and the original Minis, they feel solid as a tank, whereas this just feels hollow. Battery, in reality, 10 to 15 minutes, no problem. Battery just pops in there, nice and solid when it's in. Memory card slot, and it's USB-C. When you press the power button once, it tells you what charge is left in the battery. Press it once and hold it down to switch it on, which is usually the case with the DJI. Object avoidance, front, side, up, down. It's 360-degree ground sensor, I believe. When it's low to the ground, it knows how high it is and it stops it from moving about. And then that's the light. That's really bright, that's really good in dark and low light. It's like a floodlight, that. Maybe 12 feet off the ground, or maybe a bit higher. That light comes on, really useful. And then to turn back off again, usual DJI, press once and then press and hold. The DJI RC remote, I like when you can take the joysticks off and it's got somewhere to put them, very handy. Press once, tells you what power's in the battery, press once and then hold to switch it on. These need to be facing the drone. I sometimes find that if I do that, I get better reception. I sometimes find that if I do that, I get better reception. So it's worth playing about with until you get the best reception. But generally speaking, as long as you're pointing at the drone, you're fine. It's a really nice bright screen. When you use the old style RCN remotes, where you put your mobile phone in, the screen always seems to be dim. Even though your phone is capable of a lot brighter, the RCN remote always seems to keep it dim, in my experience. Don't know why, but this seems to be really bright. It's not brilliant in sunshine, but it's better than using the mobile phone. You've got memory card slot, because you can save your videos and images from the drone directly to this. USB-C, cooling, fins, function buttons, nice rubberized grip. It's actually really solid. In contrast to the drone, this is, this feels like proper old school DJI. This is really strong. Really nice quality gimbals, these as well. Some of the cheaper ones feel a bit grating, but these do feel quality. Yeah, really impressed with the remote, love it. I'll just do a little show and tell about the app and the remote. I've taken the drone up in the air. You need your drone switched on when you do this, so it shows all the features of the app. You can't do it with the drone switched off. And if you leave the drone on the ground while you're doing this, switched on, it will just overheat. So I'll just go around it in a clockwise fashion. So to spin the drone left, it's the left joystick. To spin the drone right, left joystick. To move the drone up, left joystick. To move the drone down, left joystick again. So up, down, spin left, spin right. The drone to the left, or rather pitch to the left. Strafe the drone to the right, right joystick, it pitches the drone to the right. To move the drone forward, or rather pitch the drone forward, right joystick forwards and back, pitches the drone backwards. So forwards, backwards, strafe left, strafe right. Home and pause button. If you get into trouble in the air, press that button, it pauses. The drone will literally just hold where it is. Press and hold that button, it will come back home. Cine mode. That's for like ultra stable video, it moves the drone very slow. Normal mode, I think it's about 20 mile an hour, something like that. Sports mode, about 30 mile an hour. But you don't get a stable video in normal and sports. I generally just leave it in normal. That shows me what battery I've got left. Right, so it's saying I'm in flight. It's showing me battery status, how long I've got left approximately of flight time. Remote control signal, that looks like a H with the up and down arrow. That's object avoidance sensors. If that's in red, it means they're not working. If they're in white, they're working. And then how many satellites I'm connected to. Currently 26. I think anything above 15 is good. And then the 3 dots there is your menus. That's your waypoints. In your waypoints, you can do things like set destinations for it, or you can put several destinations and make it fly around. You can get nice cinematic shots, so you can have it pointing at something but get the drone to fly sideways, backwards, left, things like that, without you controlling it. So it's doing it for you, and therefore the video is a lot more cinema-like and smooth. There's other things you can do in this. You can do time lapses, you can do things like dolly zooms. There's quite a few features. I'll put some clips in now to show you some of the things you can do with it. I'm sure there's a lot more features than I know about. That's mainly what I use it for. You can also save waypoints. So if there's a mission that you do regularly, you can just go back in, load the mission, and it will do it automatically for you. Right, that's your return to home button. And you can either have it land where it is, or you can have it return to home. Then it will give the option to land when you get home, or just hover where it is. That flips your camera vertical to landscape. Nice feature that. Also means you're using the whole of the sensor rather than it cropping in like it does on cheaper drones. You can zoom in and out 2 times, 3 times, back to 1 times. You've also got these rollers here. One is for tilting the camera, the other is for zooming in and out. And then AF, autofocus or manual focus. I just leave it on autofocus. That's for changing your settings. You can either change it to camera or video. You've got full manual up to 8 seconds shutter control on this, which is good for night photography. I've got pictures of northern lights with this, which I'll put clips in and show you. With the video, you've got normal, auto settings, normal video. You've got night. I don't use the night feature because all it seems to do is boost the ISO, and I think you lose the quality. Don't get me wrong, it's absolutely brilliant either way, whether you just use normal video or night video, but I just prefer the look of the standard video at night.
Do I have what it takes to make you fall in love with me?
It's slow motion. It will just record in a much higher frame rate, and then you can slow it down in edit. And then down here you've got master shots. That does a load of cinema-like shots like it's showing you on that demo. It does it automatically for you. I've got some clips of that I'll show you as well.
The real deal or just another one of those who fake it. Maybe I don't really know you. Maybe I don't really know myself. Let me rest in your arms until the morning comes and fades away our fears. I want to grow up with you. Cliche to say, but it's true. Tell me you see me just as I see you.
And if you go a bit further down, you've got quick shots. So you've got the usual quick shots, drone, rocket, it's giving you examples on the screen, circle. It's really good how it gives you examples on the screen. It makes it a lot easier so you know what to expect. My favourite, which is helix, which is circle, but it goes up in the air, really good. Boomerang, a bit like helix, but it sort of goes out and back in again. Nice feature. Asteroid, you use that once or twice. Bit of a crap feature in my opinion, bit of a gimmick. And then pano, it just does a nice wide pano shot for you. Shutter button, take your pictures or start your video or stop your video, and then your gallery at the bottom there. And while it's in flight, you can actually transfer those directly to this remote. Map at the bottom, tap on it once, it'll show you the map if you're connected to the internet. So that means if you're out and about, you need to be tethered to your phone. I'm in the house currently, so I'm connected to Wi-Fi. I can also get satellite imagery if I want. I don't think it is Google Maps, but it just looks like Google Maps. Tap that, gives you the full screen maps and your drone view in small at the bottom. Tap it again and it reverses that map at the bottom. Full view is the drone view. Feature that's really good on this, you can actually view through the object avoidance cameras. So if you're, for example, flying around some buildings or trees and there's hazards to avoid, you can have your main view here, so you can be getting your shot, but then you can also have a view through your object avoidance cameras. It's very, very low res, but it's quite handy. You can tap on it and it gives you full screen. No, you can't. Take that back. I think you can, but it doesn't seem to want to. Oh, there you go. See those arrows there? So you can tap on it, it'll give you full screen, drone, camera view, hazard avoidance view. So forwards, right, you see the propeller there, backwards, left. Swipe right, that takes you back to your map view. Swipe right again, that takes you to your, what I call the radar view, but I think it's like your horizon view. The green line showing you your horizon, that's showing you which way your drone's pointed, that's showing you where home is. The bottom there showing me my height in meters, currently at 106 meters. Distance, 30 meters away from the home point. And then it'll show me my speed in meters per second and my speed going up and down. So that's speed, just general speed moving away or towards me, and then that's speed going up and down. Down there shows me what I've got left storage on my memory card. I'm set to 4K 30. and the exposure value is set to 0, so that should be perfect. If you like to tinker, you can go into auto, press that, change it to pro. You can change your white balance, you can change 4K, HD, 1080. You can change your frames per second up to 60 FPS, I believe, on 4K. I think in 1080 it goes up to 120 if you want that super slow motion. 10.9 gig left on the card. I've got 2 gig built into the drone. I generally leave it on D-Log-M because I quite like colours it gives you when you edit it and you choose D-Log-M. And it's quite poppy colours. It's my cup of tea. H.265, that's the format of the video recording, and it's MP4. So tap that right, what looks like an aperture. Then I can change the ISO from auto to whatever I want it to be set to. Generally leave that on auto unless I'm doing motion blur. Then I try and keep it at 100, and if I'm doing 30 frames per second, then I'll set it to 1/60 shutter speed. If I'm doing 60 frames per second, I'll set it to 120. That's the 180 rule, I believe it's called. You can change your exposure value up or down. Try and keep that as near to 0 as possible. So for most people, just keep it in auto. But if you're using ND filters, like I do, particularly when it's sunny, then you have to use that to get the slower shutter speed. And that will give you a nice, smoother, more cinema-like video.
Sometimes I don't know why I keep trying so hard to change. Should I turn on the lights and let you see me just the way I am?
Right, I've just put another battery in. I forgot to mention before, there's 2 ways to take off. You can tap that icon there. I think my fingers are a bit too fat for this. Tap that icon, press and hold until the circle goes fully 360 degrees, then it will take off. Or pull both joysticks down and in, and it will start the motors.
Take off.
Right, so where did I get to? Menu, top right. Safety. Very important you have a look at this before you set the drone off. Obviously I've already done this, I've had the drone 4 months. But yeah, definitely look in your safety menu first before you do anything. Obstacle avoidance. You can either have it bypass, which means if it's going towards something, it will go around it or over it or under it. Brake, which means it will just stop, not go any further, or turn your object avoidance off. Don't trust bypass. I don't care that this drone nearly costs £1,000 in the flymore bundle. Just don't trust the object avoidance. 80% of the time it works, but it will let you down, particularly around trees and twigs and small branches and things like that. So brake's the best option, I think. It will just stop and then you manually move it yourself. I would never leave it off. There's no point having the feature on there and not using it, but by the same token, don't trust it either. Display radar map, yep, definitely. Advanced return to home, optimal or preset. I change the settings manually, so I have the maximum height, 120 meters. You would change that to suit the situation. So if there's like buildings and obstacles and things like that, you might want it higher or lower. Update home point. So if you've moved from where you set the drone off and you want the drone to come back to you wherever you are, choose that and it will update the home point to where you stood at the time. Maximum altitude, you can go up to 500 meters. In the UK, it's only legal to go to 120 meters from the level of the ground. I mean, I don't know why they set this to 500 meters. That should be infinite, because if you're trying to go up a mountain, you could raise the drone 2,000 metres, but you could still only be 50 metres off the ground, if you get what I mean, because the terrain is rising. So I don't like the fact it only goes to 500 metres. But that's DJI. Gives you a lot of warnings as well. It will let you break that 120 metre limit. It'll let you go up to 500 metres, but it does warn you. Max distance, you can either set a distance, I just leave it on no limit. Compass, you can calibrate your compass. IMU, normal, I'll be honest, I don't know what that means. Battery info, tells you how many cycles, what the health of the battery is at, how many times it's been charged, etc. You can turn your LEDs on or off. Unlock GE ozone. If you're trying to take off near somewhere where you shouldn't be, where you're ring fenced and DJI don't allow you to, you can request to have that taken off so you can fly. Find my drone, the last known GPS point it will show you on the map. Advanced safety settings, emergency propeller stop, but perhaps if, I don't know, a helicopter barreling towards you or something like that, then you can just pull in the sticks down and in, and it will stop the propellers from spinning and it will drop. Control, you can have metric or imperial, feet, meters, miles, kilometres. I'm in England, so I prefer meters and miles. Display zoom, standard, or you can have larger text. I've just got it set to standard. Subject scanning, when enabled, aircraft automatically scans and displays subjects in the camera view, only available for single shot photos and normal video recording. Not sure what that means. There's a lot of features on here I'll never use, you'll probably never use. Smart shot settings. This is where you can set how far away the drone will fly, how high the drone will fly, if and when you're using the quick shots, so like when it's doing circle and boomerang and rocket and things like that. Gain and expo tuning, that's how quickly the drone will move, how fast it will spin, to do with your joysticks. I just leave that alone because I don't really care about that kind of thing. The drone flies fine out of the box. Gimbal mode, follow mode, which is set to normally where it's using the 3-axis gimbal, or the FPV mode where as your drone tilt, the camera will do the same thing, so it looks like you're flying a fixed wing. Gimbal calibration, if your horizon is off or something like that, use your gimbal calibration. Stick mode means the height and the yaw is on the left stick. If you change it to mode 1, then that will be on the right stick, and then the left stick will be forwards, backwards, strafe left, strafe right. Button customization, leave that alone. RC calibration, that's if you want to connect another remote to it, and flight tutorial. Camera, again for setting up the format, the video type, the shutter speeds, the codec I think it's called, whether you have 4K, 1080, 720, etc. Anti-flicker, if you're looking at a light source and it's flickering, you can change that. Histogram, if you know about your cameras, histogram, exposed to the left, exposed to the right, all that kind of stuff, and it will show you your histogram so you can get more fine tuning on the video and picture quality. Overexposure warning, I leave that off. Sometimes I like to overexpose. Grid lines, you can either have rule of thirds, crosshairs, or a dot in the middle, or all three. Frame guide, leave that off, just puts a frame around the screen. White balance, that's in manual at the moment, but normally I have it at auto. It's in manual because I've been using ND filters. Style, you can change the sharpness and noise reduction. I just leave that set to standard. You can choose to record to the SD card or the internal storage. It's got 2 gig internal or whatever size memory card you put in. Change the folder, it's just generic stuff this, so changing the folder names, all that kind of stuff. Bit boring really. Transmission, showing you the quality. You can change from 2.4 to 5 gigahertz, so I just leave it on dual band, but if you're getting interference from maybe Wi-Fi or whatever, you can change that. About, I'm just giving you general information, serial numbers, name of the craft. You can check for software updates, do that regularly as well. There's a tree there. If I highlight that tree by putting a box around it, I can choose it as spotlight. If I move the drone left or right, it won't lose the tree out of its view. If I strafe the drone to the right, it will go around it because it's locked onto that tree. Same if I go left, forwards or backwards, it will gimbal up or gimbal down. Point of interest, I can send the drone to a location that way, and it will keep looking at the tree while it's doing it. And active shots, that's if I'm following a car or a bike or somebody running, something like that. Just choose a droney, so it's nice and easy. Highlight the tree again, or a person or a car or a motorbike. Press start. That's how easy it is to do little quick shots like that. Also, when you're doing these quick shots, you can do it on a moving subject. So it can do a droney away from somebody running or somebody on a bicycle, or it can circle around them. I'll show some video of that.
Can you tell me your secrets? It is time to let our guard down. I can promise you anything but loving you tonight. I want to grow up with you. Cliche to say, but it's true. Tell me you see me just as I see you. I want to grow up with you. Cliche to say, but it's true. Tell me you see me just as I see you. Do I have what it takes to make you fall in love with me? Am I the real deal or just another one of those who fake it?
Didn't mention, that's for zooming in and out, that's for gimbal up and down, that's to start your video, that's to take a picture. It's also based on Android as well, so if you know how to use an Android phone, if you swipe down from the top, you can change settings. It looks like an Android phone. You can change the brightness, the volume, connect to your Wi-Fi, put it in airplane mode, all that kind of stuff. Turn to home. You've also got that artificial heading that shows me where I'm going back to home, and you can see a little home icon there. It's just disappeared now because it's gone out of the screen. So in summary, it's an absolutely brilliant drone. I absolutely love it. I've had it 4 months and it's supposed to be as good as the Air camera, DJI Air, which is the next level above. But this is the best sub 250 gram camera drone, 3-axis gimbal camera drone you can buy. Build quality excellent, it flies brilliant, it's never let me down. One word of advice though, it does have a couple of bugs. Sometimes the screen can be a bit laggy and the software can slow down a little bit, and that's been more noticeable since the last software update at the beginning of May. So I'm looking forward to the next software update for the bug fixes, because sometimes it does get a couple of bugs, but DJI nearly always put them right. But that's my only gripe. Battery life's fine, it flies fine, video quality is awesome, picture quality is awesome. It's had a couple of crashes and it hasn't got a mark on it. Both crashes were my fault. I was trusting the object avoidance, which I always say to people, never trust it. It's a nice feature to have, and it might bail you out on more occasions than not. But if you 100% trust it, you will get burned. Yeah, wholeheartedly recommend it. It's worth every penny. It's not a cheap drone, but at the same token, it's not an expensive drone. It's good value for money. It's money well spent. Yeah, thanks for watching. Subscribe, like, do all that stuff if you like this kind of content. And I'll be back with another. Thank you. Bye-bye.